Welcome to Look Around Florida, and Sean will be with you next.
Welcome to Look Around Florida. I'm glad y'all can be with us tonight. We got George Conor Bond, aka GCB. He's in timeout right now. He'll be on shortly. So let me get this out of the way so my boss don't call, so forth and so on. This way it keeps me out of the doghouse and keep my division commander from calling me and say, why did you say that? So it's a disclaimer. This is our views, all that stuff. So get that out of the way. So Victor's in the house. Keith's in the house. We got Camp 741 and Camp 1209. Please share this episode. Get it out there. Hey, Beth. Alrighty. We got some cool stuff coming up, as most of the camps in the Florida division from SCV to OCR are kind of winding down right now because of Confederate Heritage Month. Keep in mind, if you have not registered for the division reunion, get it in. Just like our division adjutant said last Tuesday, there's going to be a customized hat for everybody that pre-registers. So keep that in mind. That's June 1st in Trenton. The SCV will be having their convention, and the OCR will be having their convention as well. Hey, Linda, and Roy, and Jeffro. Jeffro Khan. No, he has not picked Khan today. I talked to him earlier. So let me get back on track. We got a cool event coming up. White Springs Flag Site fundraiser, Saturday, May 18th, 2024 at 11 a.m. Hamburgers, hot dogs served with celery beans and drinks. $10 a plate, located at White Springs, Florida, just off of I-75, exit 439 onto State Road 135 East behind the farmers market. This is the first flag you see when you come into the state of Florida. So let's please help out the Captain Whittison Stevenson camp and the Olesti camp with their fundraiser. The money will be going back to the flag site. This event was just sent to me a couple of days ago by Jimmy Darby. The CSS Chattahoochee Mass Grave Memorial Service hosted by the 8th Florida Quincy Guards. 7:03, Saturday, May the 25th. 2024 at 10:30 Eastern. Location, 14th Street, Chattahoochee, Florida. A speaker will be Georgia Division 9th Brigade Commander and Captain Jack Cowart of the CSS Chattahoochee Camp 2314. Volunteers needed. Dress up. Bring your own rifle. So, Ed, our division chaplain wanted me to get this out. Well, I saw him post it. I'm going to get it out. Duty. The duty is supplemental word in our language. Do your duty of all things. You cannot do more. You should never do less. To do, wish to do less. Robert E. Lee. As we're closing out the Confederate Heritage Month, I did a video. I'll be showing that video at the end of the show tonight. Like I said, we got GCB in the background. So please please share this episode out at Division Reunion. Please get with me if you want to do a cameo for Look Around Florida, just like the one you saw at the beginning of the show with Kim Huffaker. I'm doing some updated ones and get more people involved. If you'd like to be involved, get with me at the Florida Division reunion if you want to do a cameo. All right. With that being said, we got George Conor Bond coming up. G'day, sir. How you doing today?
Hello, Sean. Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate the opportunity. I hate that I'm not going to be able to make it to the Florida Division reunion. I've already committed to be at the Alabama Division reunion that weekend. Actually, I'll be traveling. I'll be at the Alabama Division reunion, then at Beauvoir, then back at the Alabama Division reunion. That's my game plan right now. Sorry I can't make it down there to see you Floridians. So
It's usually a good time at a reunion, especially before the reunion and after the reunion. And I just accidentally bumped that. But it's going to be a good time. It is election year. So make sure you pre-register, guys. Get them out there. Get them in.
Yeah, I'm hosting, or my camp is hosting. I'm chairing the committee to host our Mississippi Division reunion, which is the next weekend. And as somebody who is going through the headaches of trying to pull teeth to get registrations, y'all register for y'all's reunion because it really helps the host camp out.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. I know you're running for you're a candidate for Army of Tennessee councilman. Please, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know why you're running.
Yeah, so my name is George Conor Bond. I am past commander of the Mississippi Division, SCV. A little bit about me. I've been involved with the SCV for about 31 years. I'd like to say that I was born into the organization. I'm looking at a picture of my late father on my wall here in my office. But he was a camp commander when I was born. So I grew up going to camp meetings and headstone dedications. Spent time, cleaning cemeteries, everything like that. Really, during high school and everything is when I really started getting more involved. Hearing what the Yankee school system was teaching me, knowing that was not right. Doing my own research. That's one thing my dad, he had me involved at a young age, but he taught me how to do my own research into my heritage as well as into my family tree. And I'm really blessed about that. But I saw what they were doing, what they were saying, really didn't appreciate it. So I began getting more and more involved. My senior year of my high school, which was 2011, my high school had what's called a senior project. I like to call it a mini master's almost. It was a research-based project where you had to write a very substantial research paper about a topic that you were passionate about. So my topic was the effects of the war on Rankin County, the county I live in here in Mississippi. And part of that is you had to do community service hours with a nonprofit that touched that topic. So the nonprofit I picked obviously was the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And because of that, I got more involved in my camp's activities, got elected as a lieutenant commander of my camp. Mississippi, we elect on odd years. So 2011 was an election year, and a man who I'd known literally all my life, Alan Palmer, was elected as division commander, and he asked me to serve as his color sergeant. And things kind of kicked off. It was the beginning of the sesquicentennial. I traveled from Corinth to the coast, from Vicksburg to Meridian, doing all that. Different color sergeant events, things like that for different sesquicentennial events. Got to meet the compatriots in Mississippi. And then ran for in Mississippi, we have brigade councilman, which is a title, not a title, but a job much like Army councilman, just on a smaller brigade level. Ran for that position, served for the 2 years, then moved to the Mississippi Delta, where I was at Delta State University, transferred my membership to the Benjamin G. Humphreys Camp, 1625, was a member there. And during that time, I was appointed adjutant for the Army of Tennessee. That was 2014. So for the past 10 years, I've been AOT adjutant. Finished college, ran for first lieutenant commander of the Mississippi Division, which is in charge of recruiting and retention. Let me back up a second. Before I was lieutenant commander of the Mississippi Division, I was asked by Tom Strain when he was lieutenant commander in chief to serve on his retention and retention committee, well, recruiting and retention committee, but he made me the chairman of his retention committee. So I served in that capacity. And then when he was elected commander in chief, he asked me if I would serve as his deputy chief of heritage promotions, which works under the chief of heritage operations. That's when I got to really start, moving and being experienced on the national level and things of that nature. So anyway, I ran for first lieutenant commander of the Mississippi Division, in charge of recruiting and retention. Did some things, to help renovate some projects in Mississippi that we were going through. Then ran for division commander. And my division commandership started off with my father passing in 2019, and then 2 months later, COVID hit. And anybody who was a division commander during COVID, that was a tough time, because also the assault that we began seeing being vamped up on our heritage happened. So trying to juggle all of that was very difficult, but we were able to make it through it. Mississippi, we were able to continue to have a reunion despite COVID restrictions, so that we could pass our budget and continue to operate on. We lost our fight with the state flag, but at the same time, we've made some great headway. And then after that, I decided to run for a second term. And I was the first Mississippi Division commander since we have changed our length of office from 1 year to 2 year to serve 2 full terms. During that second term, we revitalized some very hard portions of our Constitution, dealing with due process and things like that. And we had we were able to fix some stuff going down at Beauvoir, the last home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. And that brings me up to this year, where for the past almost year, I've served as our chairman of our Division Constitution Committee, our Heritage Operations Chair, our Legislative Liaison Chair, as well as hosting a reunion for this year. So been kind of busy as far as my SCV career goes. Now, as far as why I'm running for this office is because 2 things. One, I want to continue to serve the SCV. I love this organization. I view this organization as like I'm married to it almost. And after 31 years, I don't know anything other than the SCV. But also at the same time, the Army of Tennessee is the largest army. We're the heart of the Confederacy, or the Confederation. And we are at a pivotal crossroads with our organization right now. And the next couple of years is really going to be a very defining moment in the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And I believe that the Army of Tennessee needs the best representation that it can have on the GEC to work for them and represent them. And that's why I'm running.
Cool. Now, I know a lot of our candidates are talking about recruiting and retention. What's some of your ideas?
So and I'm glad you mentioned that. So recruiting and retention, it's kind of twofold. It's a double-edged sword. And it kind of goes into the different goals that I have for the organization. So first and foremost, the Army councilman's job is let me go ahead and state that it is to be the representative of the membership on the council. So of course, recruiting retention is a key factor on that because you represent the members. Now, as far as what initiatives I would push as far as recruiting retention goes, first and foremost is total membership development and camp development. Not saying that our camps are not firing on all cylinders, but there's always room for improvement. So our camps need to be developed, and that could be from how to run a meeting, to different social media approaches, which is another key thing of social media. But developing that, but as well as developing our members. And I'm talking about members who are brand new, just got their certificate, as well as members who've been in for 30 plus years. Now, looking at those members that have just gotten into the organization, I believe that we have a 6-month window to really capture them and lock them into the organization, or we're going to lose them because we're competing for people's tops. So during that 3 to 6 month period, they need to be, for lack of a better term, almost assigned a veteran member of the camp. Who teaches them, different things on like how the organization is ran, the camp bylaws, saluting the flag, what the charge means, how to defend their heritage, stuff like that. Because, because that first 3 to 6 months that they have found their ancestor, they've gotten their certificate, they're getting involved on the camp level, is the time that they are the most passionate, and we need to capitalize on that passion, or else, if it feels like they're just coming to a meat, eat, and retreat, we're going to lose them. So that's that. We have a good recruiting process. We just need to fix our retention process. Something else on that is what I call AIR. And it's something that I've gotten from, just hearing other people talk about it. And I agree with it, is that activity. So camp being active, whether that's, heritage related activities, community activities, or inter-camp activities. So what I mean by that, heritage is obviously going out and putting flags out on graves during April, or holding a Confederate memorial service in April, or something like, or dedicating a cross of honor at some point throughout the year. That's a heritage-based activity that can get the membership involved. Community-based activities are holding a fundraiser for my camp, for example, does something for kids with muscular dystrophy. But you could also throw in there raising money to help the VFW, or whatever that makes yourself look good in the community, that can get your membership involved in that. That's another key thing. And then as far as inter-camp stuff, I'm a big proponent of camps going out there and doing something other than just going to meetings. So whether that's taking a field trip to a battlefield, or getting together once a month outside of a meeting to have a cookout, or play poker, or go fishing, or play golf, or whatever it is that you and some of your compatriots can do. All that activity that you offer, or a camp offers, will allow for the membership to feel included. And when they feel included and like they're a part of something, and that could also be giving a new member or an existing member a job of some type. Everybody should, just like you said, every duty is the most sublime word in the English language. If somebody has a duty that they feel like if they're not there, and it will not be accomplished if they're not there, then they're going to feel included. They're going to want to come to your camp meetings or whatever you're doing, and them feeling included brings in the retention process. So that's my thing on that.
Now, I know a lot of people have asked me this, and you're the best one to answer this. Now, you were talking about camps and members, right? Are you, if you do get elected, are you willing to go visit other camps and other divisions?
Yeah, like I said, I like I said on chat, I have a job where, for a lot of the time, I can work remotely. I choose to come in. In fact, I'm broadcasting off my laptop right now. I keep this cell phone on me at all times. I get my work email as well as my personal emails on it. So I'm able to, for the most part, pick up, and as long as I am able to, with the exception of 1 week or 11 days in October and about 11 days in February, I have a pretty flexible schedule with work. It's only for 2 events that I have to be down here, boots on the ground. The rest of the time, I'm able to telecommute and stuff like that. So as far as going and visiting, like I said, I'm planning on being at the Kentucky. Well, I didn't say that, but I plan on being at the Kentucky Division reunion here in a couple of weeks. Could not be at the Tennessee one because I was at Beauvoir, for the Mississippi Division Confederate Memorial Day. But again, planning on being at the Alabama one. It just so happens that Alabama, Georgia, and Florida all have their reunions at the exact same time, same weekend. So I can't make those. But yeah, I can travel as long as, it's somebody, asked me and I'm invited.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we talked about retention. We talked about your traveling. Shit. I lost my list and I'm trying to go off of memory.
Yeah.
Guys, I know some of you in the chat had questions. Go ahead and ask them at this time while I'm getting my thoughts together.
Well, while we're waiting on that, I do have some. I do have, I just did the a couple weeks ago the Chad episode. I remember one of the questions that Harrison had asked is what I think it was, what is one of the main problems I see facing the SCV right now, and I can talk about that if you want me to.
For it. Yep.
Yeah, so the problem that we're seeing with the and it's not necessarily with the SCB, it's with the South as a whole, is that the Southern people are facing an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is for the past 160 years, we have been beaten down and subjugated and relegated to the point where we're a second-class citizenry. And we have people who are honestly not even proud of being Southern anymore. They forget that the South is the bedrock of this nation. And that's my thing on it. All of Southern history and all of Southern heritage is more than just 1861 to 1865. It's 1607 all the way to modern day. History is a domino effect. What happened in 1607 affected 1776. What happened in 1776 then affected, the Constitution. The Constitution then affected 1861, and 1861 obviously still affects us to this day. And we need to be able to first and foremost make our membership and those that we're trying to get into this organization feel proud of being Southern, and then at that point they will be open to be proud of being Confederate. And the South is a very unique place. We have a culture and heritage that's worth being proud of. And once we reinstill that regional pride into the Southern people, I believe that people will start flocking to us. Churchill said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the exact quote pulled up in front of me, but when a people or society forget where they come from, there's a silent generation, and it's left up to some other group of leaders to come forward and bring that generation back to the faith and bedrock laid by their fathers. And I believe that the SCV can be that. We should be that. And I believe the AOT should be leading the charge for that.
Cool. All right. Let me double check, make sure nobody's asking questions yet. Ready. How would you engage? Yeah, how would you engage with the broader membership to ensure the Presbyterian concerns are considered in decision making?
Well, so that's twofold. One is, the first half of it is better communications, and I would definitely say that through programs like SCV Chat and Look Around Florida, where we're able to directly communicate with our membership on a weekly basis, is definitely something that has really helped with that. Second thing is I have a listed phone number. If you can't get me on the phone, you can always text me. You can always email me. I'm pretty good about responding. So just reach out. I feel like I'm pretty, down to earth and pretty open on conversation, stuff like that. But at the same time, that's the other thing that the membership needs to be sure on, is that they've elected somebody that they can fully trust, because there comes a time, and I've seen it happen, where on the GEC level, there's an issue that arises that you may not have had a chance to gauge the opinion of your membership. Because I've seen it happen in Mississippi. where, you know, a decision has to be made right then, and it has to be, you have to do what's best, what you feel is best for the entire membership, not just for, you know, yourself or a select group. So like I said, it's twofold. You know, as much as I can provide out there to the membership to know, I will. But at the same time, I hope that the membership would have enough trust in whomever they elect to make the right decision on their behalf.
Now, Jeffrey Cotton is asking, I guess this was in the Confederate Veteran. I haven't got mine yet.
Yeah. So some of the compatriots of the Tennessee division were proposing that it's not in the veteran. It's in a little, cliplet of all the constitutional amendments and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I agree that the museum needs to be paid off. I believe that's our museum. You know, things like that, and it needs to be paid off because our ancestors deserve, and our organization deserves, a place where our story and the true history of the South can be told for future generations. I 100% agree with that. I believe there are multiple ways on how to get there. Raising the dues $20 in an economy where, you know, literally, I was just talking to somebody before the show started, and the Tostino party pizzas that I ate during college and I'm paying for now, you know, on health wise, or gut wise rather, have literally increased 100%. They were $1, now they're $2. I don't think that that a $20 dues increase is necessarily something that we need to do right now. I think that is too drastic. I think that is something that is, you know, I agree with the sentiment that we need to pay off the museum, but I don't think that's right for the membership right now. And honestly, if looking at it just as a, you know, trying to a little bit of foresight on it, I see us losing more members than and being more you know, when suddenly you hear that you have division dues of this much and camp dues of this much and national dues of this much, and it starts adding up, and then you throw another $20 onto it. I think that's just a little bit. It's gonna end up hurting us in the long run. And I'm saying that as a life member, as somebody on the division and national level. I've paid my life memberships. It would not affect me. It would affect our organization. I don't think that $20 increase is really what we need right now.
Correct, sir. Yeah, because like I said, I haven't got anything in the mail yet, and some of the guys in the Florida division were asking me about it. I mean, I agree. Yeah, the museum does need to be paid off, but with this economy, it may actually hurt us.
Yeah, in the long run, I think it'll do more, you know, more harm than good.
Same person. Okay, not how much would you be interested in voting yes on? If we need, and we need the money to pay off the debt.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about dues increase. It's left up to the membership. It's not the GEC can't just arbitrarily wave a wand and say, okay, we're going to make dues, you know, $18.96. They can't you know, do that. It's up to the membership to do it. You know, I'm sure that those compatriots in Tennessee that came up with that have, you know, done the math on it, and you know, I'm sure that they have a reason for it. And that's the other thing, because it's a membership thing. The membership should be the one to decide on how much it should be. Like I said, it's as a life member, I probably wouldn't even vote on it because it's not going to affect my ability whether I'm going to be in the organization or not. You know, I think it should be up to the membership as a whole, because that's what the Constitution says. But like I said, I think $20 is too much. I could see $5 make Lincoln work for you, or work for us, and you know, roughly doing the math. could be $125,000 if we did $5. But like I said, that's something we as a confederation need to come together in July and discuss and vote on.
Correct. Thank you, Jeffro. Ready. Okay. I don't think we covered this one yet. Looking ahead, what do you envision a key milestone or accomplishment for the Sons of Confederate Veterans during the potential tenure on the as councilman?
So really the big two projects that we have going on at headquarters right now that I would love to see accomplished within the next 2 years, that are right now, very attainable for us is first of all the museum debt being paid off, and second the resurrection of Forest Plaza up at headquarters. But there's a lot more that I would love to see. I would love to see a social media growth on across the entire Confederation. I would love to see every camp, first of all, if they don't have it, getting social media and then actively using social media as a tool for recruitment, retention, as well as reclaiming our narrative about ourselves. Showing that we're not the boogeyman, that we do a lot of good stuff in our communities, because that all impacts, heritage operation fights. And it's also on the heritage operations front. I would love to see every division, every division, as well as, every brigade, possibly even every camp, go through some type of training on what to do in a heritage operation battle. Have it from the preventative to the offensive, how to get something that works. Because and I know that what is the demographics of Florida are completely demographics from Mississippi, completely different. I know that it's different from Georgia than it is Florida, and y'all share a border. But still, there's stuff that Florida's doing right. There's stuff that Georgia's doing right. There's stuff that Alabama's doing right. There's stuff that Mississippi's doing right. There's stuff all across the Confederation, all across our army that our people are doing right. And I would love to see us come together, see, okay, well, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, and do some real heritage operations training, as well as again, talking about that total membership, a concise total membership development, as well as total camp development.
Cool. Well, on that subject, you're talking about camp development and all that. And I know we got some training coming up, the AOT
workshop. Excuse me.
Yeah, workshop. Now, are you for or against increasing the workshops and spreading them throughout the AOT?
Yeah, I am. I'm always in favor of increasing, but and this is something that we need. We need people. We need camps, divisions, brigades. Willing to host them. Because while yes, I'm willing to travel to one in Florida, I don't know where in Florida to host one. I don't know where the best geographic location for one in Florida is going to be. So, if we can get somebody to volunteer to host it, yes, I'm in favor of, hey, let's have one in Florida. Let's have one in Georgia. And one of the constitutional amendments I've proposed for Mississippi is an annual requirement for one in Mississippi on the division level. And also, I'm in favor of changing up how the workshops are held. So instead of it being, this speaker, this speaker, this speaker, this speaker, why can't the first section of speakers before lunch, why can't that actually be a breakout session? To where if you're a camp adjutant, go and listen to the adjutant training. If you're a camp commander, go listen to the camp commander training. If you are, or let's say other camp leadership besides that, if you're a chaplain, which, camp chaplains are so underutilized, have a training for the chaplain, how to do their job, how to fill out the last roll, how to be the spiritual, guiding post for the camp. As well as a section in there for again, new membership development. A lot of times when you look at the people that come to the workshops, They're guys who are either interested in coming into camp leadership or they are new camp leadership. Which is good, but why not open it? Why not have a special spot in there for that new member so that they can come in, they can see it's more than just their one camp in their community, that we are an international brotherhood. I think that's something that needs to be changed. And that's the one good thing about the Army councilman working with the Army commander, is being able to offer those type of ideas and seeing that change implemented.
Cool. Ready. Ready. I think all the questions I had. Guys, feel free. We got George Conor Bond here, candidate for Army of Tennessee councilman. Feel free to ask questions. If he was shy, he wouldn't be doing this show or SCV chat.
Yeah, no. I'm about as shy as a full brigade at the gallop, so and about as clumsy as one too.
Right. So as far as I know you talked about retention. What's some of your ideas on recruiting, getting our message out there? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so first and foremost, the camps are the backbone of this organization. They're the first line of defense on heritage operations, but they're also the people join camps. They don't, for the most part. Now I know we have some exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, they join camps. They don't just up and join divisions. I know headquarters camps are different and are the exception. So first and foremost, camps need to be known in their community. That needs to be a huge thing. So again, that goes back to the activity equals inclusivity. Inclusivity equals, retention and recruiting. So, be an active camp, do something, whether it's setting up at your local festival, whether it's adopt a highway. The big thing is just be active and let your community know who you are. And, again, put that best face of the SCV forward, show that you are the pillars of the community that you are. And the members will start coming to you. The other thing is a social media presence. Have a social media presence on there. I am a big user of the Facebook Marketplace. Really am. I get everything except for food and clothes from there. And my car. Did not get my car off Facebook Marketplace, but I check on there for antiques and all sorts of stuff. It would be very simple for a camp. And when we're done with this reunion, I'm going to propose it to my camp, but just advertise free genealogical research from your camp's Facebook page. I imagine you would be surprised on how many people would be like, yeah, I've been interested to learn more about my family. Well, then you've opened up that line of communication with them. You've got that communication. So yeah, well, this is your Confederate ancestor. And then you tell them, well, this is what he really fought for. This is what he fought for because, oh, look, doing your genealogy, I found your Revolutionary War ancestor. And he fought in 1776, and your Confederate ancestor fought in 1861 because he believed that his grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever the generational is, was right. He believed in 1861 that the America was right in 1776, so the South had to be right. So there are 1.5 million ways to be able to recruit. We do not have a problem with recruiting our members, recruiting new members for the most part into our organization, especially in areas where our camps are viewed as the bedrock because our communities know who they are. It's just we have to get out there and do the work for it.
Correct.
And think outside the box. Yeah. And still, when you're out there, I know I cannot stand Abraham Lincoln. We have a joke that we're going to launch a tyrant picture of Lincoln on a T-shirt. Lincoln with tyrant on it on our page, and we might. We don't know yet, but there's such a cult of Lincoln in the United States right now. If you immediately go out there and start bashing Abraham Lincoln to a bunch of people, they're not going to want to listen to you. But instead, if you go out there, and this goes back to that Southern identity crisis, you go out there and you start talking about the positive things that the South has done, whether it's the founding generation, the next generation, or the frontier generation, Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone, that sort of thing. And then you talk about the postbellum, influences that the South has had. That's going to make them, that's something positive, and that's going to make them want to listen more to what you're saying. So,
Yep. Especially when you deal with history professors. I got a disagreement with one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and it's I was talking to a young compatriot out of Georgia who had found SCV chat and was had messaged us about it, and he was talking about how he gets into those things with his history teacher, and his history teachers getting ready to write him up and stuff like that. And I said, well, I know you're talking and you're telling the truth about Sherman, but try talking about the positive things that that the South has been able to accomplish. Talk about that founding generation. Talk about John Taylor of Caroline. Talk about, and let that segue. Especially if he's saying, you get a history teacher that's saying well, the Confederacy only was treasonous, and when they left the Union. So then was the founding generation treasonous when they left Great Britain? I know the British think that, but we can't. There's a historical hypocrisy. So just yeah.
Yep. Hey, Lewis. Hey, Bobby Van Zant. Hey, Bobby, can you put in the chat your camp event? I know it's this weekend. Your camp picnic. I forgot to talk about it, sir. I forgot the date, time, and where you guys are meeting. I did get an alert through my calendar tonight.
Well, see that camp picnic. That's another one of those talking about activities that camps need to be offering their membership, so that they will feel included and want to continue their membership in the organization.
All right. So we're gonna get kind of off track a little bit. So how's SCV chat been going?
SCV chat has been doing fantastic this calendar year. We started off January with a pretty good bang. And really we've picked up steam over the past month and a half. We have been averaging across platforms for the past couple of years. Now obviously our first year which was not really a full year. We didn't start until after the national reunion in 2020. So really it was a half year. But we were starting to get good numbers, and then we had to do the transfer from Twitch to Facebook and YouTube. Since getting on there, we've averaged about I think our first year was 250,000 people. Then our next year was so that had been 21. 250,000. The next year was 300,000. Then last year was 450,000 on Facebook alone. This year, right now, just on Facebook, we're over 700,000. Wow. So we're close to doubling our goal, and that's something Harris and I will actually be talking about at the AOT workshop. Is social media is set a realistic goal. But our goal for this entire calendar year was 1 million, break 1 million people on Facebook. Well, we're probably going to break that before national reunion. And that's only with, about a $200 investment on boosted advertising. Okay. Which is again why camps need to have a social media presence out there, an active social media presence, promoting the positive things that the SCV is doing, that their camp is doing, as well as positive information about the South. I had an step uncle of mine who was a pastor, and on Thursdays he would take off from his work at the church and would go play golf. And the church asked him, "Why do you take off from the church and go play golf?" And he said, "Because there are sinners on that golf course." And that's the thing. You have to go where the sinners are. Well, so Facebook is the largest social media platform out there. If it wasn't for chat, I would have deleted mine a long time ago. But all that still being said, that's where we're reaching a vast majority of our people. Now our YouTube has started, climbing. We're starting to reach, people there, which is good. We've rebuilt the website. I say Harrison has rebuilt the website. I'm into more of the graphic design phase stuff of chat, and Harrison is doing the legwork on the website. I run the Patreon. I write our blog post on the Patreon. So we've launched our Patreon just so that we can recoup some of the $20,000 the three of us have invested into chat. And when you add that up, I did the math the other day. That was a fun little bit of number, but just so that it's not so that we can recoup, but so that we can continue to grow and build on it. I do our blog post on there. We're starting to take our episodes and putting them in podcast form. We're also recording individual podcast episodes about once a week. So Harrison and I, we were going to shoot one today, but he had a scheduling conflict. So he couldn't get on StreamYard, so we could do it. Tomorrow I've got a meeting with, hotel. So I may do it tomorrow. We may do it tomorrow evening. We may not. Of course, we may do a Confederate Heritage Month wrap-up video. We still haven't been able to nail that down. Then Thursday he has commander's comments, and then Friday we'll be traveling up to headquarters. So we may actually do the video or do the podcast when we're at the hotel for the conference this weekend. Well, the pilgrimage and the conference.
Cool. Well, Commander Bobby Van Zandt said his event is May 4th at the War Veteran Memorial Park in St. Pete, shelter number 5. So he did say everybody's invited. Please go check that out in St. Pete. It's always a good time. I've gone up there for the past couple of times, and I've always had a good time with Bobby and his camp. And I want to say welcome to our president of Florida Society of the Order of Confederate Rose. Annette Lindsay's in the chat. So, GCB, do you want to say thank you for coming on the show tonight? I really appreciate you taking the time out today.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me. And again, I'm sorry that I cannot make it to the Florida Division reunion. Like I said, I'm I'd already committed and to be at the Alabama one. It just, that's the one thing is, I wish I could clone. I don't think the world could deal with a clone of me. Harrison,
surely not of Harris.
Well, I think Harrison would have a heart attack if he had 3 of me, because I've called him 15 times today. About different things, and there towards the end, he was like, "What? Stop hanging up," because I'd get a work call and hey, I gotta go, hang up, and then do that, and then call him right back. So,
all right, like I said, thank you for coming on the show tonight. I'm gonna do a test run of a video that I worked on. I am going back through the video and doing some editing, so I'm going to do a test run. Tell me what you guys think. This is to honor our OCR chapters and in the SCV camps here in Florida, their namesake. Right. There we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. I am going back before I publicize it on YouTube. I will be adding the camp's the name and all that with the picture. So that was just a test run. So do you want to say thank you to everybody that joined the chat tonight and asked questions? Appreciate it. Or I just realized he joined the chat and I didn't say thank you. Our Commander-in-Chief, Jason Boshears, was in the chat. I don't know if he's still here or not. Thank you for joining us tonight, sir. I know you're a busy man trying to keep everything in line. And no, I'm not going to do any T-Rex jokes tonight. You go ahead.
No.
You're going to behave tonight?
That's one thing I am going to miss about Jason's time in office is the just how good of a sport he has been. We've been picking on him for the past 4 years, and he has been a fantastic sport with it. He knows we do it out of a place of love. And that's the one thing I love about Jason is that he is really a cool guy with a great sense of humor.
Just like he just said in the chat, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
I'm going to behave tonight, sir. But hopefully I can get with you and see if you have a free Tuesday night before National Reunion to come on and say a couple words. I know you're a busy man, Jason. But I want to say thank you to everybody that joined the chat tonight. I appreciate it. GCB, thank you for joining.
Well, again, thank you for inviting me, Sean.
Yeah, not a problem. Oh, thank you, Commander. Just remember, guys, OCR reunion for Florida and the SCV Florida Division reunion, same day, same location. It's just going to be in two different spots. It's in Trent. Get your registration in. Or, because this is election year, we also got an amendment to vote on. Or forever hold your peace for 2 years. And if you're going to nominate somebody, make sure you get with our nomination committee. You know it, Annette. I'll be there. We're having a soiree in Chiefland this year. On Friday night, if you want to come over and hang out. Invite your dad. Alrighty. With that being said, I had a video. Wait. Well, we're gonna end the show with a video on one of our Florida Division members, Nelson Wimbush.
My name is Nelson W. Winbush. I'm a member of the Jacob Sumner Camp 1516 Sons of Confederate Veterans. My reason for joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans after the NAACP declared they would destroy and remove everything Confederate in 1990, I decided that I would do all I could to make sure that people understood what the Confederacy stood for.
Well, thank you for everybody that joined the chat tonight. I just want to do a quick check, make sure nobody else has questions. All right. Have a good night. Stay Southern. May the Lord bless you this week. Until next Tuesday, have a good night.